Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We've got our whole Zoom panel set up with you. Harry Glanz on the Zoom.
Good morning, Harv. Morning, everybody. It's beautiful outside. Looking for another beautiful day here in southeastern Michigan.
Oh, I love that. And sounding good, as always. John Kolb got up north Michigan.
What's up, guys? Nice to see you.
There he is, somewhere in the Glanz area. I won't give specific details in case anyone wants to hunt John Kolb down. He's definitely doing the up north experience every weekend, every summer, and it's been a great summer. And you bring on Kyle Lang, Remax Green Properties out in Northville. Hey, Kyle, what's going on, man?
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Great, Kyle. Hey, thank you for coming on. And of course, we're on the podcast with us on Wednesday. And Harry's going to hit you with a whole bunch of some great information. We want to really give the buyers out there and the sellers out there a really good vibe of what's going on out there. If you haven't spoken to a real estate agent about what your house might be worth in 2020, it's worth a lot more money than you would think. What a rebound we had after being pent up with the COVID situation throughout March, April. And then, of course, they released all the animals. And boy, oh boy, the offers have been nonstop. So we've got a lot to share with you on that. And we're going to take your calls, 248-539-9797. Mr. Glanz.
Yeah, listen, how's everybody doing today? Everybody looks great. And, we're going to reprise a little situation that we call fact or fiction with Kyle Lang. We had Kyle on our podcast every Wednesday from 11 to about 11:27. Yes, that's 27 minutes of the finest podcast on mortgage banking and real estate in the industry every Wednesday from 11 to 11:27. We played a little game. It was a little segment called Fact versus Fiction. Kyle, I got to tell you and I've been talking a little bit before the show started. So first question right out of the box, Kyle, fact or fiction? In this hot market, you don't need a real estate agent because guess what? It's easy to sell a house. Just put your house on the market and it'll sell right away. Fact or fiction?
We're gonna go with fiction on that one. You might be able to throw something up online and sell it yourself, but it's gonna be all the other things that go into the transaction that are really gonna be where the agent's gonna have his value worth for you. Harry, you had mentioned the other day you had two deals fell apart for two buyers of yours that the sellers actually backed out because they were having a hard time finding a house, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, so we had two for sale by owner transactions. We had the buyers pre-approved, very strong pre-approval letters. They win. The offer was accepted and the terms and conditions accepted by the seller. Inspections were done. And then later on in the transaction, the sellers couldn't find a house and they backed out of the transaction completely. Now tell everybody, Kyle, what happens if that, how you are as a psychologist and everything else involved in the transaction, how that necessarily would not have happened if a realtor's involved.
Yeah. So, there's always a way around it, right? So we could have done something along the lines of if, that seller was still having a hard time finding a house, depending on what the buyer's situation was. Hey, let's see if we can get you some occupancy here in the home, but get you a little more time until we find that right fit. But also, too, sellers have to understand you guys need to be, once you transition from that seller to that buyer, you need to be actively looking. You need to be getting out with your agent, 2, 3, 4 times a week, looking at houses out there, trying to find what's going to be a good fit for you next.
Hey, Kyle, let's talk about your listing. Last night, of course, you got to go over a couple. We broke down some numbers on a new listing you just picked up, and it's in that price range where a lot of first-time home buyers are at. You said somewhere between 140 and 150,000. Tell us a little bit about that particular house. It could be anywhere United States, but this one just happens to be in Westland, Michigan.
Yes. So we had a situation where I had a client of mine. They just bought this house 2 years ago, and they're planning on being there for a little bit. But they've been seeing this house that's been on the market for a little bit. Dream house for them, if you want to call it. And the price dropped like $17,000 on Wednesday. And he reached out to me. He's like, hey, we've been in love with this house. We really want to go take a look at it. So we set up a scheduled a showing to go check out the house. Got there. The house looked just as good in person as it did in the pictures. We were able to work something out and get a contingent offer accepted for them, obviously contingent upon the sale of their current home, which is 30517 Hively in Westland. I just put it on the market about 15 minutes ago. I've already had a few people actually reach out to me trying to schedule showings and asking questions about the house. So wow. It's a really cute little ranch, 3 beds, 2 full bath. There's a full basement. detached 2-car garage, huge backyard, nice entertaining space in the backyard. So and the photos turned out great as well. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, that house is going to be gone by the end of the week. But we broke down some numbers for people. And again, I actually used the $150,000 price range. And not to confuse things out there, but just a couple basic numbers on it. Those taxes on that house are relatively inexpensive, $2,400. I mean, they are going to go up quite a bit. But you're looking at the end of the day, a house payment, whether you want to buy that FHA or conventional with 3 or 5% down, the house payment somewhere between $1,050 and $1,100. And boy, oh boy, you can't rent an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment for that. And if you rent a 2-bedroom apartment and you have a family, you're going to need to spend more money on a storage unit. And that's another $300 or $400. And boy, oh boy, we were breaking down some numbers last night. And Harry and John, and of course, Kyle, what does $1,700 really buy you nowadays? Because the more and more we're talking to families that are out there buying homes, $1,700 is what they end up paying in rent, is about a national average. And boy, you can buy a $250,000 house in a lot of cities here in Michigan. So Kyle, talk about affordability here, right locally in our area.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing I'll say is our taxes I'd say most cities are relatively inexpensive. John, we just had one yesterday. A buyer was looking at Allen Park, and you're like, oh God, yeah, what are the taxes on this? We were thinking $3,700 a month, or I'm sorry, a year. I think taxes were like $2,600 for the year annually, so that's really where your lender and your agent are going to come into effect for you as well. Is let's look at property taxes. How much is that going to be additionally for you each month? That's going to be a huge carrying cost for what your principal, interest, and tax payment is going to be every month.
Well, again, if you're out there and you're not pre-approved, make sure you get approval. Kyle tell you puts a house on the market. We were just talking about it. It's a recent clients that he's worked with. They need to move on. And boy, oh boy, this is the type of marketplace we have where that house hits the marketplace and you're already looking at 3 or 4 offers within the first hour or two. And again, all terms are offered on that house. So call Kyle Lang, Remax Dream Properties. If you've got first-time home buyers in that 140 to 150 range, he's got a winner for you right there. A ranch, hard to find ranch with a basement, 2-car garage, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Westland and really low taxes. Hey, you could go FHA, VA, 3% down conventional. So we'll get into that a little bit more today. And we are taking your calls, 248-539-9797. Hey, John Kolb, one of the things I always talk about with mortgages is the timing. Whether you're refinancing a house or buying a house, sometimes it's a little bit of timing. And again, for the last 3 months, mortgage rates have been really stable, John. But we do see eventually, including this first few days of August, mortgage rates have actually quietly just moved up a little bit. It might not be reflected, Harry, and you're shaking your head. Yes, yeah, we know it. We're seeing it every day. But rates do move up a little bit in these great markets. So sometimes it's a little bit about timing. So a little bit about that, John Kolb, as we talk about timing in a transaction.
I mean, you're never going to predict perfectly when you're going to get the bottom of the market with the best interest rates. So, you just got to be at the bottom of a part of the curve. And, right now is a great time to be able to do something. It's like Harvey said, rates have ticked up over the last couple of days, but you know what? Who knows what's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday? And they may tick back down. So, make sure you get yourself put in a position to be able to jump quickly. If you think that you can just call us on a Tuesday, lock in a rate on a Wednesday and close on a Friday, that just doesn't happen anymore. There's a lot more that's going on with everything that we have to do. So make sure that you are, getting yourself in a position to win and give us enough time to get everything done and going. What I'm doing with a lot of people, pulling their credit, making sure everything looks good.
Hon, you got to get her, please.
Getting them in a position to pounce quickly when everything goes the way that they want.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Kyle Lang, Remax Dream Properties, home prices, boy, they've been resilient. There's no doubt, even with some of the jobs, they're saying the unemployment numbers came out. He said half the jobs out there have not come back, but half. Look on the bright side. It's interesting. The home values have been so resilient, and it's due to the lack of inventory.
Yeah, absolutely. There's and you're seeing these prices that are steadily increasing. Appraisers are having a hard time keeping up and knowing because they're comping out on stuff maybe that sold 4, 5, 6 months ago, but realistically now that house that sold 4, 5, 6 months ago would probably sell for $15,000, $20,000 more right now in the market that we're in, just because of the lack of inventory, the guarantees, escalation clauses, and things like that these buyers are offering.
Yeah, you see that in the 225 range. That house that was bought for 225 recently might be worth 245 right now. So home values continue to tick up here, Southeast Michigan, across the United States. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We've got a quick break. We come back. Buyers and sellers making a phone call to us, 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. There you go. Can you hear me? Alrighty. I never can hear myself anymore. Hey, I'm just getting older and older as it goes on here. 917 here in Southeast Michigan. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Again, I want to introduce the whole panel here. I'm Harvey Freed. Harry Glanz is on with us. John Kolb up north and Kyle Lang with Remax Properties out in Northville, Michigan. Lots to talk about real estate. Again, we always have the off-air show also what goes on. And it's all about real stuff, what's definitely going on out there. When we talk about the approval, we got lots to get into here. And I'm going to let Harry roll with a nice topic. But just in the break, we were talking about not only this the pre-approval, now you're overbidding on these houses. And if you don't have a lot of money, when the appraisal comes in at the true value of the house at 265 and the house might be worth 280 or be sold for 280 or 290, if you don't have the money to make up the difference, it's sort of you're dead in the water. And I'm sorry to say that sometimes in real life, some of these transactions do break down for different reasons, Kyle. It's all about what our business is. Sorry to say, yeah, 90%, 99% of the transactions, whatever that number is, they go down and we close and everything's perfect for everybody. But that's not always the case.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's the reality of doing real estate and working in these transactions. We're just saying no one ever wants a deal to fall apart. Unfortunately, there's some things that are out of your agent's control, out of the loan officer's control, that are just going to happen in the middle of a transaction. And we just got to try to work through it best we can. But you're not always able to keep the deal together and keep things moving forward.
All right. Hey, Harry, you wanted to talk about something that's really going on in the industry?
Yeah, by far and away, it's a very busy time in the industry right now, both purchases and refinance. And what I'm finding is, and after doing this for a very long time, and Kyle, you could attest to this too, the number one question that we as mortgage bankers, and you hear it on your end, Kyle, and the real estate part is, why does this lender need all of this information? Why do I have to send them every little piece of documentation they're requesting? Information that doesn't even make sense to me. Well, here's the answer to that question. If you were lending somebody, let's say the home purchase is $200,000 and you were lending them 90% of the transaction, they were putting 10% down. So that means they're coming up with $20,000 and you're lending them $180,000 out of your pocket. And they get to live in the house and have fun there and do whatever they want to do. Wouldn't you ask them for documentation to show that they can go ahead and pay back the loan? So the number one question on a purchase always is, why do I have to give you all these documents? Well, it's because we're the 90% partner, you're the 10% partner, and to just kind of have fun with it, you get to live there. So, of course, we're going to go ahead and ask for a lot of documentation. And just because it doesn't make sense to you or in the real world in a rational process, it's like putting the pieces of the puzzle together so we can make the best lending decision. That's number one. Number two, the top question we get on a refinance transaction right now is, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? Well, you want to know something analogous to the fact that money is free right now. When you're borrowing in the high twos and the low threes, there are so many people. There's 11 trillion, that's with a T, $11 trillion worth of refinanceable mortgages out there in the market. And everybody all at one time in the last 90 to 120 days, they all want to take advantage of it at the same time. So what does that do? Why does it take so long? Well, there are appraisers that are busy. Title companies are busy. The turn times on everything. Everybody who wants to purchase a home during the summertime is doing it right now. And everybody out there, purchase transactions are the priority. On a refinance, you already live in the house. Where are you going? We're just refinancing you to a lower rate. But everybody wants to get in the free money business right now. And that's why it can take a little longer. So going back to question number one, get us all your documents, get them all up front. And yes, you're going to have to wait in line. That's just the way it is right now. I hope I answered all those questions, guys. You want to go ahead and elaborate on that? Feel free.
Well, Harry, I'll jump in with the home remodeling going off. Of course, the crisis has changed the way we look at our home space, and remodeling is taken off. You're talking about the pool industry. The stock market has a pool index, believe it or not. Yeah, I read up. They have a pool index. It's had a 53% increase in the last 3 months. There's an article out. You can check it out. The spa companies, you couldn't move a whirlpool company. They would have every other weekend at your local big outlet center, they would be giving these whirlpools away. You can't find one nowadays. So you're seeing it everywhere here. You talk about the industry's got an overload. But again, this COVID pandemic has showed us a lot of things that are taking a while. Landscapers are completely backed up, remodeling of decks. And that's a lot of the fun stuff, Kyle Lang. That's really the stuff that I love. When we start talking about remodeling a home, and I'm going to segue it into cash out refinances. Everyone out there's got all this great home equity in their homes. And as they're stuck at home, they're saying, well, wait a minute, now I got to build that space. And again, the landscapers are backed up. If you want to build a new deck, if you want to remodel your basement and add that school space, a lot of home schooling might be taking place moving forward. So again, a lot of fun stuff, Kyle. But when you go to a house and you're going to be showing a lot of homes throughout the next probably 2 years, that's the fun stuff we can talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. We always love being able to kind of look at a home and say, what changes, what things can you do to make this space yours, and what, small fixes can you do, what larger things can you do, and what kind of potential does the home have for you to be able to kind of grow into it and be able to make this house, your home for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, 58% of the people that check out that house online, it's HOUZZ, they do these platforms, reported 50% increase in leads for all of these home professional projects, whether it be finishing a basement or adding a deck or whatever you might be looking at.
Hey, John Kolb, Harvey for 30 years has been telling me pools are an upgrade and an advantage in the house, and it took him 30 years. It took him 30 years to finally be right.
30 years of maintenance on that pool to finally be right. Go ahead, John. What'd you say?
He's right for a short period of time, right? As soon as we go back to normal, everything will come back. But, as Harry said, here we're in, Harry's been doing this a long time back. I mean, he still has an abacus on his desk, and,
right.
Still lends money on a handshake, but we can't just do that anymore. We have to follow the guidelines that are put forth. Trust me, if I could get your appraisal to come in 500 times more than it's actually worth, if I could, just say, hey, give me a pay stub and a W-2 and close you in a week, I would. But, we got to follow the rules and guidelines, get your docs in. And sometimes appraisals just don't come in at the value that they're supposed to. And that's just what happens.
Hey, guys, let's go to a call. We got Dave calling in from St. Clair Shores, if he's up. Hey, good morning, Dave. Welcome to our show. Did I get him? Oh, there we go. Hey, Dave, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave. Hey, man, what's happening? It says you won a bid here. The seller will not respond now. What happened? You made an offer. Give us a little bit of your story. You're buying a house and? Right. Yes. So your agent calls you up and says, hey guys, we won the bid, and then we're going to have the paperwork signed and we're going to get that back tonight or tomorrow. What happened with that? Okay. And then mm-hmm. Huh.
Well,
very interesting. So
what do you want them to
Kyle.
do? I mean, that's one of those things that comes into a transaction, and they can up and say, you know what, we're going to move on. Maybe they found somebody who's going to be a cash buyer. Maybe they found someone who's going to say, don't worry about all that. We're going to knock this house down and rebuild it. It's one of those things like we were just talking about, Dave. If I could just make a magic wand and make your loan go through and make the house be perfect, we would. But there's things that pop up. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that, to be quite honest with you, even if you did the foundation work, it doesn't mean that you're going to fix it permanently. So it might have been a problem that popped back up while you still owned it, and it's going to cost you another 20 grand. And shame on your realtor for just saying, hey, let's knock 15 grand off the purchase price, because knocking 15 grand off the purchase price doesn't really save you much money out of pocket. If you think about 100,000 versus 120,000, the difference in what you have to bring on a 5% down loan is only what, Harv? $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So you're only saving $1,000 on 20 grand reduction on a purchase price, but then you got to turn around and put 15 grand or 20 grand into a house to fix up the basement.
Well, it's 100, and 100 off the payment too, John, right? And not that big of a difference. Keep
right.
going.
I mean, yeah, it's just, it's setting you up to fail. So
Well, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, it's setting you up to fail. You know, all of a sudden now you just bought a house for 15 grand less, but you got to come out of pocket with 20 grand more than you were originally thinking. Move on to that next house, get with an agent that's going to be able to point those things out to you, like Kyle, and, make sure you're set up to succeed.
All right. Hey, we're going to follow up a little bit more. I got a lot to add to that little bit of a story. And I want to hear from Kyle on it. So much to share with you. Keep it here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, 248-539-9797. We'll be back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289. You can reach us here locally in Michigan, 1-800-LOW-RATE or 1-800-3-LOW-RATE anywhere in the United States. We do mortgages everywhere. Again, right here in Michigan, if you want to give us a call, 248-539-9797, right here on 97.1 The Ticket. We have sports coming up with Pat Caputo and social commentary as always. And I believe some Tiger baseball. Would you believe it? The Tigers, they got the late touchdown last night and somehow pulled off the miracle. 17, I think it was 17-13. It was funny. One of the local announcers gave me that hint last night that it sounded like a football score. But hey, the Tigers are on a roll. It's exciting for me. I'm a baseball fan and a sports fan. So again, I know you guys are all itching out there to get some more sports back our way. Here he is. And
hey, I was up watching the game last night. Of course I was up.
It was
Come
awesome.
on,
Yeah. And again, a lot of you get to enjoy what's going on here in Southeast Michigan, 84 degrees and sunny. Kyle, if this isn't the best place to live, if you like to boat, golf, or just about do anything out there, get out on your bicycle and kayak. So much great things going on. What a great summer we're having here in Southeast Michigan. And if you want to buy or sell a house, Kyle Lang, you're the man. We've talked, it's funny, off the air today about a lot of different stories, but there's so many great stories out there, how our clients come to us, whether they're buying that first or second house, and they have 10 or 20% down now to put down because they bought a house in the last 10 years, Kyle, and they got so much appreciation. And they're able to keep moving their family upwards. And that's what we need to really keep this market going, to get that inventory rolling.
Yeah, if you bought a house in the last 10 years, and sometimes if you bought one or two houses within the last 10 years, your equity is going to be awesome right now. So you do have the ability to, you were just making your mortgage payment every month, even if it was just the minimum payment every month. You've been able to move up now. You've got great equity in your house. That's going to be your down payment. That's your nest egg for that next house, that forever house, or if you're looking to downsize, whatever you're really looking to do. It's a great little savings account people have got right now.
Becky Alley's joining us. Becky Alley, one of the top 1% of all loan originators, and working her tail off. Becky, I do call you once in a while during the week to make sure you're alive and ticking. And there you are. You're on the phone with us. Good morning. All righty. Hey, get back to work right after this call, Becky. You just get a little breather here and then get your butt back to work. Becky, are people refinancing their homes and buying homes at like a record pace like no one's ever seen? Geez, oh my. Yeah, I really like that. Stop asking what your mortgage rate is. Instead, ask me how to teach you the process. Let us teach you how to, it's like, hey, how much can you bench press? Well, that's not important. The thing is that you stay in shape and don't pull your muscle. And there's so many opportunities out there to save money. I love that, Beck, because a lot of our families did buy investment properties or even second homes. You can buy a second home for as minimum as 10% down. And if you did buy a home at 10% down, probably in the last 12 months, definitely at 2-3 years ago, like you said, Beck, you got enough equity in the house where not only can you get a lower interest rate, but you can remove the PMI and really save yourself a lot of money on your vacation home.
Yeah, I've had quite a few buyers that have reached out to me lately just with how low interest rates are. And they said, hey, can you get us in contact with a loan officer? We're looking to buy a place, in a number of different areas, just because money is so cheap right now.
Hey, want to add a little bit of and Beck, keep staying. I love you on the phone and always great information, great insight of what's happening out there. Quick story about credit. And I always like to throw it out there again, whether you're, everyone's got a little credit story sometime in their life. Not everybody, but many people do. And the key with credit is to open up good accounts, 2, 3 accounts, and make sure you pay these accounts on time. I got a couple bad calls this week, and I was like, come on now, get the coaching you need. If you know someone who's thinking about home ownership, truly, if you're a real estate agent out there and you've got some clients that working with limited funds and bad credit or a little bit of a credit challenge, make sure you get them in touch with real mortgage people that'll share the mortgage credit report with them, that will show them things that they need to do to make them homeowners. I'll tell you, time flies, especially as I get older and everyone else. As the older we get, it seems like time flies. And again, you might not be able to buy right now, and that's okay. It's a pretty tough market to buy in anyways. You have to have a lot of money. You have to be approved and ready to go and have that better credit. But again, if it's 6 or 12 months down the road, give us time and an opportunity to set you up for home ownership. Kyle, we get a lot of young people, and again, even guys my age out there and women my age out there, whatever the situation, divorce, death, good, bad things happen to good people. And again, you might need to fix that credit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I always say, people reach out to me a lot and ask me questions. And I always say, like, talk to your mortgage lender, talk to a good lender that we can trust. Usually I'm on the phone with John almost right away and saying, listen, this is where my credit's at. This is my history. What can I do? Am I ready now? Or can you put a game plan in place to help me be ready in 3, 6 months, a year, whatever, however long it's going to take to make those improvements necessary for you?
Hey, want to reach out? Go ahead, guys.
And I want to touch back on what Becky just said, that, when you give us a call, it's not just pinpointing on what we think you should do. We give you options. We lay it out for you so that you can make an educated decision. A lot of companies out there will just say, oh gosh, my manager told me to do this today, and this is the product du jour. And guess what? Every product's not the best for every single person. You got to tailor it around your situation and make sure you understand why you're getting into something and not making a bad decision that you're going to have to come back and look and do something again down the road. And so it's important that someone sits back, listens, listens more than they talk, and then also puts the options in front of you so you can make an educated decision.
Right now, there still are some temporary, guidelines in place that require someone to have a higher score than maybe they should have for FHA specific. It's not a capital mortgage thing, it's an FHA thing. They put that in place for themselves to make sure that all that people need, like when you're going to do a verification appointment and for jobs overnight, and you purchase on a dime. So it's still there. Things are starting to settle down and improve, but reality is are looking to purchase a home, getting in contact with someone as soon as possible. So that way, we do need to make adjustments to your credit. You have the time to do so with regards to that credit is something right now, and cash is not being trying to pay mortgage.
Alrighty, hey, we're up against one of our last breaks here of this hour. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
We're back with tons of information. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You can always shoot us an email also at mortgage.show@lowrateonline.com. Lots of ways to find us. Just go ahead and Google Capital Mortgage Funding right in. You'll be finding us. Get some great service. Hey, we actually had that caller come back and I was almost interrupted Harry at the break there as we're talking about lots of great stories and things that are going out there that are really in the news right now. A lot of interesting stories. But caller Dave's dad called back and he wanted to talk about, this is real estate stuff, about, hey, man, we already had a signed purchase agreement. And let me just reiterate the story. Signed purchase agreement, people are moving forward. After the inspection, there's a problem. If you're a buyer and your agent then puts in writing, hey, we've got a problem and we want to renegotiate this signed purchase agreement, Kyle, what happens?
Yeah, it's a brand new transaction at that point. Once you make any change to any purchase agreement, whether it be a change on the PA or an addendum, you send something over, mutual release, notice of dissatisfaction with the inspection, you've reopened everything up again. And that seller has the right to do virtually whatever they would like in terms of they can choose to renegotiate with you. They can tell you, no, we're not going to do anything. We're going to keep moving forward. Or they can say, hey, listen, we're going to put the house back on the market, or call one of my backup offers that I held on to and say, hey, listen, the first deal's falling apart. Do you have any interest?
Hey, guys, loosely held. I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on the radio, but it's contract law 101. If Kyle has an offer that is fully accepted on a house that he has listed, and there are no conditions, in other words, full price offer, no contingencies, everything was accepted based on the terms and conditions of that original offer, then somebody's going to have a hard time pulling out. However, as soon as the deal changes, whether now you go back and you say, we will buy the house, but we will buy the house with this contingency. We will buy the house, but you need to do this. The seller has the right to say, no, I'm out of this deal. I'm going to move on to the next deal. So unless Dave abided by all the terms and conditions on the way it was presented originally, the seller has the right to pull out. Any attorney wants to call and tell me I'm wrong, please do.
Yeah, and Kyle, of course, they can always go back on the buyer side and say, hey, okay, you know what? We've gone out there. We can't find any other houses. We might absorb this problem or whatever that situation is, but the original deal's off the table.
Absolutely. That's why when I'm working with a buyer in a situation like that arises, I first want to have a phone call conversation just verbally with that agent to see where we stand, because it might be something that isn't a huge deal that the buyer's not willing to walk away from the house from, but I don't want to give them the opportunity to say, hey, this buyer's wavering, let me go to the next offer.
Right. And sometimes, Kyle, in that situation, you as an agent might just, instead of putting something in writing, might even call the listing agent and say, hey, look, let's talk here first. Okay. Where are you at with this? I know there's a lot of offers. We know the marketplace, but we want to be fair and make things work here. And usually, but once you put it in writing, now you're subject to definitely the deal's off.
Absolutely. Yep. They could totally say they could rescind it at that point, revoke it at that point and say, listen, sorry, we're going to go work with somebody else.
All right. I'll let John call back. Yes.
Especially if this is one thing I do as an agent, I don't like to send and share the inspection report with the listing agent for that specific reason, because then that listing agent can say, listen, here's the report, send it to that next buyer. If that buyer's okay with it, that buyer's going to say, hey, I'll take it. And now I'm not even going to do an inspection.
Hey, got a brand new inspection. Anyways, hey, we got John Kolb on the line and Becky Yaley, top 1% of all originators in the United States. I don't know. I'm somewhere behind that for sure. But 248-539-9797. You want to call in about buying or selling real estate. Really good show today because we've touched on a lot of different topics as we typically do. But again, mortgage interest rates at all-time lows. Call Capital Mortgage Funding. We offer every type of mortgage out there. Asset depletion, jumbo loans, purchase, jumbo refis, rate and term, USDA, VA, FHA. USDA loans are fantastic, Becky Yaley. 0 down USDA loans based on geographic location. But wow, you can buy a house with 0 down, even if you're not a veteran.
Correct, but 0% down does not mean zero cost. So a lot of people get that confused. They're going to be anything to say, well, 0%. No, you're still going to have your title. You're still going to have, if you're going to put taxes and even your payment to that, it could still be upwards of $5,000. Now you still can ask the seller for concessions or concessions.
Yeah, no, that's great information. You can always get those sellers concessions, right? If you're working with minimal down, you got to call Capital Mortgage Funding and we'll find a program for you. And now with more people looking to move outside of the crowded cities and maybe some rural development areas, whether it be on the outskirts of our tri-county area, which does have rural development loans available. Again, it's based on the location of the house and your income, but upwards to $115,000 with a family of four. So there's opportunities out there definitely where you can still get in with minimal down. And again, it's all about having that good credit. Hey, you guys, it's always about the basics and fundamentals of mortgages and buying a house. It's the collateral, it's the house, the security, the affordability. How about the cost of maintenance and upkeep of a house? You know, Kyle, a lot of our families out there always say, hey, I would love to move into a condominium. I don't want to do anything. Boy, but those condos association fees really eat up a lot of your buying power.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had somebody the other day that she said, well, I'm pre-approved, and it was a pretty, a lower amount, like $65,000 was her approval. She's like, what about this condo? And the condo, I mean, yeah, it was priced at $60,000, but it had $240 a month in association dues. It's like you're not going to be able to swing this here.
Yeah, it's $40,000 worth of buying power right there. So again, with these low interest rates, that's another calculation that's really interesting and fun. I like working with clients is what is $40? 3.25 on a 30-year fix, $10,000 is, I'm going to guess $43.50. Any mortgage guy want to challenge me on that one? 3.25. So again, $43.50. So if your association fee's $200, that's 43 times 4. It's about $170 more to the payment. Right there, or in buying power, you can break it down and say, that's another $40,000 worth of buying power.
Yep, absolutely. That takes a huge chunk out. And I say too all the time, if you're looking for a condo for the limited maintenance outside, you could pay somebody $30 a week to come cut your grass, and that's going to take away
100%
so much of your upkeep.
Hate to pick on condominiums. They do take a little bit longer nowadays because when we do a mortgage, and again, if you are refinancing your condominium, if you have a condominium you want to refinance, call us right away. Get your paperwork into us. We talked earlier about the show about this paperwork, these 6 to 7 items that we are constantly nagging our clients to get us. But the families that are able to really file, we send you a list of documents. If you can get these to your lenders, if you're a clean-cut transaction and you've got the name and phone number of your association and you can send in that association coupon, you really could be your best advocate. Becky Alley, we talk about that often. Be your best advocate when you're applying for a mortgage.
Yeah, one of the best parts about our job every day is we get to talk to a lot of nice people that are applying for mortgages. And yesterday I had a conversation with a lady on the phone. She was so good and so patient and so understanding, but she had a question. She wanted to ask me the question, well, why do I have to provide this document? I've been very patient. We've never had to provide this kind of documentation before. Well, number one, it's a brand new world. And I understand that sometimes rational thinking doesn't apply to the mortgage application process. We talked it out. I assured her that we would work it out for her. And the funny thing is, Harvey, is we talk to a lot of borrowers every day, but I like talking to the people that call into the show, that listen to the show, that said they've been listening to the show for a very long time. And the reason why they call us is because they know we're going to end up taking care of them. So we encourage everybody to call, ask those questions. Why do we need this? Why do we need that? And the very easy answer is, hey, listen, we need it because, or listen, we'll get it taken care of for you. And we appreciate all the callers and we appreciate everybody listening to the show, but we'll get it worked out for you. We've got great information to share. and just keep calling in and asking us.
Well said,
questions.
Harry. Yeah, no doubt. All righty. Hey, I see Pat Caputo out there in the bullpen. He's been warming up. Keep it here, definitely on 97.1 The Ticket. We're going to have sports and social commentary. Of course, we'll see you next Saturday on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Call Capital Mortgage if you need that mortgage at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We want to say a shout out to our favorite, Jamie Samuelson. We love you forever, buddy. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.